Hello and welcome back. In our previous lectures, we studied variables, their data types and the operators. In this lecture, we are going to learn about strings and string formatting. A string is a data type that represents texts. It comprises a set of characters that contain spaces and numbers. Anything inside quotes is considered a string in Python. You can use single or double quotes around your strings. This example shows a string with single quotes and double quotes. In the first example, we are using single quotes, and this is a string. And in the second example, we are using double quotes. This is also a string, like this, but there is no big difference between them. So you can use any of them that you feel like. We can assign a multi-line strings to a variable by using triple quotes. For example, here we have a string called S, and it says, S is equal to Python is my favorite language. Python is diverse and it has a very large community. Now, since we understood what strings are, we will move on to an important topic, and that is string formatting. Let us start by declaring our two variables, first name and last name. First name is equal to Rose, last name is equal to Mary. Now let us use the format function to check how it works. Print hello, I am. Format first name, last name. The output is hello, I am Rose Mary. We can add numbers as their identity inside the curly brackets to be sure the values are placed in the correct placeholders. Let us take the same example, and this time we will use numbers inside curly brackets. Print hello, I am 0, 1. Format first name, last name. This numbering inside curly brackets is useful when we want to refer to the same value more than once. Let us modify the previous example. We want to print hello, I am Rosemary. Mary is my surname. To achieve this, we have to use the format function as follows. Print hello, I am 0, 1. 1 is my surname. Format first name, last name. This prints our desired result. And now it's time for a really cool ninja tip. We have another method for formatting strings, and that is f-strings. Now let us understand f-strings. F-string evaluates at runtime of the program, having an easy syntax compared to previous string formatting techniques of Python. Let us take an example and understand the concept of f-strings. Let us take two variables, f_name equal to Karan, age is equal to 40. We want to print, hello, my name is Karan. I am 40 years old. We are going to use f-strings for formatting the string. Print f, my name is f_name. I am age, years old. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the different string methods. String methods are inbuilt functions in Python for manipulating strings. We have different string methods for different purposes. Let us look at the different string methods that we have. Let us start with the first string method. Capitalize returns string after converting the first character to uppercase. For example, we have a string S is equal to Bollywood. To change S dot capitalize, this returns Bollywood. Then we have the lower function. which returns the string after converting all the characters to lowercase. Let us take an example. S1 is equal to cinema. We want all the characters of the string to be lowercase. S1 dot lower. This returns cinema. Next we have is the upper function, which returns the string after converting all the characters to uppercase. Let us take an example. A is equal to movie. We want the characters of the string to be uppercase. A dot upper. This returns movie. Next we have is the join function, which returns the string after concatenating elements of the string with a separator. Let us understand join method using an example. We have a list S1 equal to Ram, Shyam, Mohan. X is equal to double quotes dot join S1. This returns a string Ram, Shyam, Mohan. The join function is generally used to convert a list into a string. Next we have is the len function, which returns the length of the string. S is equal to Python programming language. Len S returns 27. Please note that spaces are also counted as characters in Python. Then we have the count function, which returns the number of occurrences of the substring. Let us take an example. We have a string st equal to Lionel Messi. We want to know the number of times the character E occurred in the string. st.count_e. This returns 2. Then we have the find function, which returns the index of the substring if it is found, else returns -1. Let us take an example. S is equal to Ronaldo. We want to check if U is present in the string. S.findU. This returns -1 because U is not in the string Ronaldo. Next we have is the isLower function, which checks if all the characters of the string are lowercase or not. For example, S is equal to actors. S dot is lower. This returns true as all the characters of the string actors are lowercase. Then we have isUpper function, which checks if all the characters of the string are uppercase or not. Let us take an example. A is equal to songs. A dot is upper. This returns true as all the characters of the string songs are uppercase. Next we have is the split function, which returns a list of the string after breaking the string by the separator. We have a string called S. S is equal to data plus signs. S dot split plus. This returns data, comma, signs. As split function is really very important, let us take one more example to understand it better. Let us take another string called S1, where S1 is equal to data signs. Let us split the string by white space. Anyway, white space is used by default for splitting the strings. S1 dot split double quotes. This will also return data, comma, signs. Next we have is the strip function, which removes any extra spaces at the beginning or at the end of the string. Let us take an example. We have a string called S. S is equal to space Tom Cruise. S dot strip. It returns Tom Cruise. The strip function removes the trailing spaces from the string. We learned about string methods. And in this lecture, we are going to learn about taking input from the users. Developers often have a need to interact with users, either to get data or to provide some sort of result. Python provides an inbuilt function called input that gets input from the keyboard. Input function takes input from the user and evaluates it. When the input function is called, the program stops and waits for the user to type something. When the user presses enter, the program resumes and input returns what the user typed as a string. Now, let us take an example and understand the concept of taking input from the user. X is equal to input. When this command is executed, the program pauses and then you can type the input via your keyboards. We can also pass some messages while taking input from the user. Let us take an example. Here, we passed a string in the input as input, what is your name? Note that whether we give string input or any integer input, Python will consider it a string only. For taking integer input from the user, enclose input function inside integer function, and similarly to take floating input from the user, enclose input function inside float function. Let us take an example and understand this concept more clearly. X is equal to integer, input, enter a number. The input function takes input from the user and integer function converts it into an integer, and the result is displayed as an integer. And similarly, for taking float input from the user, we have to use the following command. Y is equal to float input, enter your marks. So in this lecture, we learned how to take input from the users and add interactivity to the programs. And in the next section, we are going to learn about loops and conditionals. Till then, keep enjoying Python.